Okay, video assembly of the Type III AK-47S, particularly the underfolding stock. I'm going to show you guys how to take it apart and put it back together today. So, before I begin, I want to make sure that you guys have the right gun. Okay, Type III AK-47S. This is not for the AK-MS. Tokyo Marui style body. If you're absolutely unsure, just look for this extra bit of the receiver that the pistol grip attaches onto. If you've got that extra bit, you've got the right gun. This is a Double Eagle M900C, but this will work for guns like the Pulse R76. This isn't quite the right type of body, but it's the same gun. Tokyo Marui AK-47, CYMA 28S, JG-A-47S, guns like that. So, without further ado, we're going to get into this. I did notice that you have to have the folding stock folded to the rear in its open position before you can remove the gearbox. So pushing upwards to the rear, it's going to come out. And then how we're going to start this off, little hex nut here. Alright, so I've taken that hex nut out and I kind of put it back in, but at this point what you can do is just lift off this little button, which reveals this here. Now notice the shape of it, so it's going to fit in only certain ways and not, wherever you want to put it. So see how I have to kind of rotate it and then it fits in? So you want that facing down, just like that. Anyway, you can pull this button off, and then what that's going to do is it's going to free. This is it's just like a little plate, or kind of like a washer, but that's what that's going to free up. And then this nut here, this other side to that plate, it's going to come off, and then that'll be it for the right leg. Alright, so I'm just hitting that Phillips head screw right now. You're going to get a screw, put that off to the side, keep it safe. And then this little button here is going to be able to get pulled out. Simple. That little black washer I showed you earlier, that's going to fit on. It's going to fit on, where are you? See this little tab on top here? That's going to fit in this little hole here. And then that's all it's going to do. It's the only thing holding it in other than the screw. And that's all we have to do with that for now. We're actually going to have to go into this hole here in the body. Then we got to reach these two Phillips head screws. And then that'll take this assembly off. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, and then I'll let you finish it off. Okay. So plate falls off, or it should. Let me just dump all this out and then I'll show you what's what. It's a lot easier than it looks. So the button can kind of move around, but okay. So rotate that around, and then you can pull. I lost my sling hook already while I was trying to do this, so you can just pull that out, pull it straight out, kind of wiggle it a little bit if you have to. And then the sling itself, or not the sling, the folding stock itself should be completely free by now, and then you're just left with this, this little two-piece little button thing here. Alright, then buried underneath all this silicone grease, for some reason, is a Phillips head screw, about right there. So just hold that button firmly in place and then unscrew it. Might be kind of tight. I wonder. Okay. So make sure it's pressed all the way out and then try unscrewing it. Holy shit, this one is tight. Okay. There we go. Coming out now. come out. Alright, fair enough. So that's what that screws into. Looks like it'll go any way it wants. Let's test that out. Okay, I'm just going to rotate it and fit it into place here. There we go, okay. So it just kind of found its way in. There was a right way to put it in. And then I'm just going to tighten it back up. Alright, so here are all the components of the left side assembly. Take note of the spring here, which is going to go on the middle of this plate, like so. Kind of hard to see, but right there. And then that's going to push on the other side against this, the head of that Phillips screw there. Okay, remember to throw the button back on. Again, you just got to line up. Just got to line up these two slots with the two slots here. That's easy. And then you can screw that screw back in. Alright, before we get the stock back on, I'm ready to do it. What I would seriously recommend is putting grease on it. They put silicone grease on these stock legs, but that's not even remotely sufficient. This is not a plastic assembly, it's all zinc alloy die cast. Not good, but it's not suited for silicone oils. I'm going to start off with the stock plate here. I have my screws put in, and then this little hole here is going to go, it's going to go like this, right? The hole is going to be, where's that hole? Okay, it's going to be on the right there, like you can see. So that's how I'm going to put it into the gun. Like so. God damn it. What will probably help you out, but I don't think I need to do here, is just putting some like scotch tape around the back to hold the screws in. In fact, I'm actually going to do that right now. Is put the left stock leg on. Notice that this too has little cutouts for the block here, like this one does, so keep that in mind. And then I'm going to put, so we got to worry about that spring. That's our like stress component here. Is that spring? We want to get it again on top of the that little peg in the center right next to my thumb. So we want to make sure that the stock thing facing this way. You want the grate tabs to be horizontal, and then on top of that we got one more stressful part here. We have to worry about that sling hook. This one here, we got to put that in, and then try to hold that in position. This is very liable to turn into a nightmare, but now that we have it like this, we're ready to go and put it back in. Since we're taping up that receiver plate, that's just one less part that we would usually have to worry about that we don't. So I'm going to do this on the ground here. Okay. Actually, no, I'm going to put that spring on the bottom plate. Shit. May have gone too far in a few places here. Okay. And then I'm going to proceed with the button assembly once I get my stock loop back on that I just lost. Piece of fuck. Stock assembly back together, and here we go. The lucky part here is just getting that spring to catch. Okay, now I'm just going to wiggle it around. And then I'm just gonna, oh fuck, the sling hook came loose. There we go. Okay, so I got it. Now I have to screw in those screws on the other side while this is being held in place. Alright, so that did it, I think. So You can see there is still some play, but it's just tightening it down a little bit more. The sling hoop moves freely like it should. So what I have to do now is I just have to push in on that sling button assembly and just tighten up those screws. That's all I gotta do, and then that side's done. Okay. Please make sure not to over tighten. And then please do not forget to apply lubricant to the assembly. Okay, what the fuck is wrong with this one? Okay, so mine's clearly just a little bit canted there, so I gotta work with that, although I think it should be easy to do. You're likely not gonna run into this problem. It's just me being an idiot. So see here, if your plate doesn't want to come together right, just make sure you're pressing on it while you screw it down. That still doesn't look right. What the fuck? There we go. Okay. Make sure your stock isn't midway folded. Okay, so I'm thinking mine's just a little bit, I think I got the screws just a bit fucked up. Maybe I put it in just a bit cockeyed, but at the same time I do have a functional folding stock at this point. As you can see, it's into place fine. I just have to get the lower leg reattached, but I'll come back and fix that later. The basic technique was demonstrated. So, going to come around to the right side. This is going to be much easier. Okay, and then I just have to do the same thing, just line it up. And then we can... How we're going to do this in order is... Okay, so like I showed earlier, I'm just going to put this button in from the outside, and then I'm going to put that washer in from the back. Take note of the washers. It's got like a little hole for the little leg on the back of that screw, and all you have to do is just put the gray part, you want to put that inside, and then you can find out where the hole is on the washer and line that up with the peg, and then once it's in there, it's not gonna move around. I just lost mine. And then what I'm gonna do now is just put that Phillips head screw in there, and then I'm going to tighten that down, and then that's basically all we have left. Now we just have to secure, all we have to do now is secure the right leg to the cover here, and that's what that's going to look like. Again, we want that hex nut poking out from the bottom. My fucking cam will focus here. There we go. And then just tighten down that hex nut, and you should be good to go, actually. It's tight, but perfect. Clicks into both positions very well. Ta-da! I think what I got wrong here is I just I put my screws in at a bad angle, and they kind of got bent along the way off the path a little bit. So. Just make sure you're watching. This is where I went wrong, is with putting the screws into this plate here. So just make sure you're watching to make sure that's totally flush with the body. It should be all the way inside this gap here, all the way alongside flush with the wall. But otherwise, that's all you have to do. That's the AK-47S folding stock assembly. thank you for watching. Hope this helped, and if you need any extra help, I'm standing by to answer.
I'm labeled the bad guy, but I never switch, cause everyone needs someone to point the finger at.